And hello, everybody. Welcome to Ed the Pagan Show. I'm Ed the Pagan, and today we're going to go right into it. I've been having a really energetic time. So if you have any questions today, feel free to put them in the chat room. And if you ever really want to debate me on some of the subjects I've talked, I will happily put you on the air. Let us, talk about that. And today it is Pagans and AI. And let me talk about that first. So the biggest fight is over a small portion of the community over generative AI. As AI in general. I mean, the generative AI, which is all about the artists. And they're saying steals artists, steals water, steals everything. And it only makes up a very small amount of the community of the AI usage. And the way that they're doing it is putting out a lot of information, misinformation, um, disinformation about it all. Same as solar cells, same as everything else. So we really don't know all the truths. We can't. But even if we did, what could we do? Well, they're saying, "Oh, don't use it, don't use it, don't use it." Okay, and yet many of them are using it. And there's AI, artificial intelligence. There's like 9 different models of it that are into various different portions. And I'm saying we need to get in there and use it. And there's this idea of generative AI. It steals from artists, and there's no way to make it better. No way to handle it. That's the real question. And I believe there is. So, uh, my friend Greg is one of the people who replied to me today, asked the AI a question about, why are people so fervent? And he came up with 3 things that I thought were interesting. One, and the first one was very interesting, that people are afraid to lose their identity. That as AI moves in, just as like websites, just as like cell phones, just like everyone who had to give up their pager, yeah, all of these were new and exciting technologies that took over, and then they became technologies that were replaced, and people got angry every time we replaced them. And they will always get angry when you try to replace them. Two, the people who just are not doing well, are not community leaders, are not things, so they're able to criticize, and that they want to get in there and criticize without construction. And we get that. That's a common thing. And the third is just a terrible apprehension of where their job is going to be, that they're going to suffer a loss if this comes in. I do. Now, on intellectual property, I think you should go all and go get a lawyer. I think the lawyer should be doing things. If your publisher is not doing anything, make sure they didn't sell the rights to your LLMs. That's just something people don't talk about. Your publisher that you trust so much can sell your book to the LLMs. They have every right to do so. They can sell the entire database in most contracts. Are you sure your contract is written in a way that protects you from being sold as an ebook? You can be sold as an ebook. You can be sold legally to an LLM to train them. There's a little, it's a matter of what is a reader, what is a purchase, and how large that purchase comes in. And you can argue with me all day long that buying a book isn't the same as training an AI, but it is. They will buy the book, pay for the book, and then give it to their model, which is as long as it's a single continuous entity learning, it would be like a single human learning. And then they split it back up, just like anyone else. That's a way of looking at it. But Anthropogenic, one of the big AI companies, had just pay out a $1.5 billion suit with a group of authors being organized by the American booksellers. Yeah, they just won. And so you need to join. I'm all for intellectual property. Start putting things in there to make sure that you know it's your intellectual property. Old cartographers, people who made maps, used to put in fake towns. Other people put glitches into your stuff. So in that way, start protecting yourself against this, because eventually we're going to have to deal with the politics of it. We're going to have to deal with the economics of it. Just like we did for music and Napster, just the same as ebooks, we're going to have to deal with this database producing, these answer producing machines, AEO. Uh, yeah. Answers uh, uh, yeah, people are going to have to deal with answers engine optimization. Just threw me there for a minute. It's still a fairly new term, so you can continue to feel to ask me these questions. Now, another part of this. So we've gotten to that. So I'm all in on AI. Let me tell you what I've already done. More than 2 years ago, when Reverend Don Lewis had his heart attack, I stepped in, and for various reasons, I ended up as the rights holder for all of Reverend Don's stuff and most of the materials for the Corellian tradition outside of their own corporate headquarters. Because, to be honest, in the fight that they were having, they wanted to dump it. They didn't want to have it. And I was able to acquire and hold on to our Facebook pages and a lot of other stuff and a lot of our legal content. We then took the Corellian books and made them Creative Commons. Yes, you can download them right now at CorellianChurch.com. Not only can you find them on Witchcool, but now you can also get them on, that you can get them online. And people ask me, what? And because they were asking me, what if somebody tried to copy Witchcool? What if somebody did that? Oh, people did that. It's 25 years old. People did all sorts of things. Our books are everywhere. We're the most pirated set of pagan books out there, by far. Plus, we've given away. There we go. And so that we got them out there. So now that we got them out as public domains. We also introduced them into the LLMs because they were going to be the new search engines. And we developed that as well. So effect that says, I absolutely, positively do not trust AI. Don't trust it. Who's asking for trust? This is that it's not a human being. It's a tool. It's a set of tools ran by human beings. Don't trust it. Learn it. Use it. Trust it. Do you trust a hammer? Well, to be used as a hammer, I hope. But do you trust that a hammer won't kill you? Well, no, I don't trust a hammer to kill me or not. I don't trust it at all for anything. It doesn't have a reason. Why do I care? It's a tool. A knife, a tool. Screwdriver, a tool. A microwave, a tool. This is just another tool that we can utilize to make bigger executions. You've got to understand. So let me go ahead and go back into my career. I have been at the cutting edge of anything that has come down to make what was formerly expensive less expensive and one of the first users. Egress was the Daily Spell. And other names. I don't trust a hammer. Trust it to do what? What happens if it snaps? What if it breaks? Hammers do that. I've been hit by hammers, so I don't absolutely trust a hammer, but I don't not trust a hammer because the hammer is not the issue. It's in whose hand it is. Do I trust the hand that holds the hammer? Do I trust the people who hold the tools? So, the Daily Spell was a newspaper, online newspaper. While we were doing magazines, it was a lot of fun. Witchcool was based on lowering the number of things that were just mind-numbing. Scoring tests and doing all sorts of stuff. So we were able to automate. So everything we've done is automated. How do I do radio? Well, it took a lot of work. I was in the early radio to make a radio show, set it and copy it and upload it to the internet. We tried it in IRC radio. Telepathic radio was on IRC. But the minute it became easier to do, we were there. We did the tough work on we were on Ning for a while for Social Network, which was a great front. One of the big ones is YouTube. We were on the air 3 months before we went to YouTube. We were on YouTube in less than 6 months. So in each of these things, I have trusted the tools. And a lot of these tools, like we're going to eat the world. Bitcoin was going to eat the world. Arguably it has. Today, $61,000. Imagine dropping $50,000. Or more importantly, my biggest mistake when it was 10 cents to 30 cents, I didn't buy enough of it. I didn't buy any of it. We learn. And that's what we're facing right now. A moment in which AI is making its presence. So let's get past generative. Why am I so much into AI? Is because it's automations to create tools that makes it easier for us to work. So if you're using a search engine, they're hurting their own revenues, but they are giving you more answers. Um, I'm working with AI to make sure the way that paganism is framed within the AI world has at least a reasonable chance. There you go. That it is more correct. Uh, Swag, I'm not going to get into these types of longer statements. I mean, yeah, like the kill switches in newer vehicles in the government hands. I don't trust that at all. You shouldn't trust it. Who's asking for trust? Trust is an overrated concept. I'd rather have no trust systems than trust. Trust is a very bendable, very betrayable, very weird type of idea because you're really counting on the other individual, the other system, the other machine, whatever it is that you're trusting, to act in a certain way in a chaotic world. No. The only way you can trust something is if you know its processes in and out, and that you're constantly checking to make sure those processes work. Do I trust the answering machines when I leave a message? No. I just expect it to work. That's what's the difference. This idea of trusting things is an emotional response that wants to make you feel good, period. And if you feel good, you can be tricked. You can be doing all sorts of things. If I feel good, I'm susceptible to positive actions. And those positive actions may not look so positive once the consequences of them are known. I mean, this whole idea of being a private person. I've been on the internet for 30 years. I am not a private person. I can't even begin to think that my data is private. I know there's whole caches of data that I can't access anymore that are available on some server. And some future cyber archaeologists are going to go into the old Yahoo groups and dig out some of that material. You know, somebody took me out of context today from something I said about 4 years ago. And I'm trying to remember what it was. I said that, that we can't have 501c3s, though I've been 20 years, I've been an advocate of getting your paperwork done. So trust isn't the question. So why am I on AI is because first of all, let me go ahead and say this. It's a dream come true for me. The ability to work with non-human intelligence that can actually be programmed, coded, spoken into spells, to have a space that my imagination can amplify, just is everything my 13-year-old heart desired. And I turned 50. I turned 50 years of that dream next week, 63 on February 10th. And so I'm going to utilize this in every way. And what is the result I want? I want a center in Danville, period. I want a place in Danville, Illinois. It could be somewhere else, but Danville, Illinois is where we're targeting. And what we're putting our position is to have a campus, a solid physical campus, and people around me who believe more or less in the same moral structure I have, the same ethical structure that I have, the same trust structure that I have. And I need to do it in a way that's fast, quick, and protective. And there it is. That's why it's important to me. And so we're going to need the automations. What am I working on next? Which college? I've been telling you this. Go to Which College. I think it's a really good site. I don't know what to say if you don't trust. Just don't use it. If you don't trust AI, if you don't trust generative AI, just don't use it. And if you don't like people who do use it, don't. I told somebody today, why don't you just block me? They did because they were trying to shame me into saying this, this idea. And I'm not going to be shamed out of this. I know what I'm doing. So there you go, folks. I'm all in on AI because it's survival, because it's already taken over so many different things. And while you can think it's all generative AI and artwork and all that, I'm looking at how do we deal with the search engines? What are the educational platforms going to look like? How are we going to teach people? How are they going to learn their systems? How are they going to learn? Not if they'll learn or who's going to put it there. How are they going to learn? Who's going to feed them the information? And if you're not concerned about that, then you don't understand what the next fight's all about. Importantly, you don't know what the best good is. Because if I'm correct about what I'm saying, it'll create a good place and a good center and a good way. And we start with a great public library. The great pagan library will be the next step. And we'll try to build something good. And then we'll build a theater, which we need to be creativity. The truth is, the only thing that's going to defend us is that fact that witches have such dynamic super skills within cyberspace. They've already trained for it, talking to non-human entities, being exacting in their language, being detailed on manifestation, knowing how to do it. All of these are fantastic skills in what's coming. So let's get past and figuring out how to solve some of the problems, and let's solve some of the problems. Let's figure out how to generate more electricity. Let us figure out how to do better water. Why don't we start taking some of the roles that are necessary to shape the world? Not just worship it, not just beg for it, but let's go ahead and start managing projects that have a significant scale. Let's start trying to change the world by taking on actions that set our standards of morals. I hate that word. Ethics, like that one a little bit better, but our heart song, love that word. What do we want to do? What type of world do we want to leave to our kids? Me, I would like to leave them a center of learning. I would love to set a center of learning that will last 1,000 years, like most universities do. It takes a lot of work. And with that, I'm going to leave you. I've already told you what I've done. And so, by a lot of rights, some people wouldn't even consider me pagan anymore. Oh, I hate that. So this is Ed the Pagan. Until tomorrow, I want to get back into more fun things, like getting some great interviews in and everything else. But I wanted to deal with this today. I don't care if you like it or not. You don't have to. The question is, where are you going to participate? And if you're not going to participate, great. If you're going to plan to attack everybody and be resistance for it, great. If you're going to be for it, great. If you're not going to be any of those things and just say, I don't know, and be neutral, that's great too. All of those things are allowed. You're allowed to make any choice you really, really want. Make the choices for yourself. You try to convince everybody else, but make them for yourself. And go out and buy some carbon offsets. If you don't know what that is, don't complain to me about AI. Blessed be.